Hello there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tatiana, the eternally exhausted artist from Spain. I'm still not comfortable filming myself looking at the camera, so forgive me if this is a bit awkward. So if you're ready, let's start the video and you can see how this was created.
If you've watched my previous video, you will know that I am embarking on a crazy challenge this year, using up all or most of my older art supplies. So in that spirit, I am going to use a paper that I got a while ago and the leftover watercolor and gouache that I currently have on my palettes. Now about this paper. I don't remember where I got it, but I do remember getting 2 sheets to try out. I am almost certain that it is cotton paper, and I wanted to try it out with watercolors. I tried the first sheet as soon as I could, and I realized it did not hold well with watercolor or wet media. The paper started to buckle if I used a fair amount of water, and it also started peeling on the damp parts where I went over with my brush, or if I tried to scrub the paint off, the paper would just rip. So I stored the second sheet at the bottom of a dark drawer and completely forgot about it. Until I found it when I was going through my paper stash that I showed you on my last video, and I decided to use it today once and for all. As for the paint, I debated whether to use dry media like oil pastels or colored pencils, but I didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to paint to begin with. So in the end, I decided to go with watercolors. And to make it more interesting, I would challenge myself to only use the colors I had left over from previous paintings. I decided to include my leftover gouache as well, mainly just as an excuse to clean my palettes, to be honest.
I am currently in a dancing mood. I am listening to deep house, and I think what I'm going to sketch is a dancing person. Let's see how it goes. I gotta be extra careful with this paper when erasing because it is quite delicate, so I can't do the rubbing motions, otherwise I will take off the paper, like I will peel it off. So I'm using this like malleable eraser and I'm just dabbing it so as to remove the excess pencil on my sketch. And I'm also not making a big fuss about the painting not being quite anatomically correct. I'm just trying to paint what I feel. Now I need to figure out the colors that I have and how to use them. This is watercolor that I have here. So we have this sort of reddish pinkish tone over here, kind of purple, with dark blues, dark grays, and then here sort of indigo, which is not enough, but we have some there. Over here we have the green, and again this nice color. Yeah, I think this is a neutral tint from Schminke. And then we have this burnt umber around here, and then again like a teal blue. Then we have a lot of quantity of the ash blue by Sennelier. Now this is my palette for gouache when I'm mixing gouache. So this is a bit of white gouache, black, blue, ochre, and burnt umber, which I'm also going to use. And here I have like a deep green, and then again a very dark color, a bit of blue, which is, it's nothing really, it's not going to make a difference. I'm wondering about this one though. So I do have a lot of quantity there, and we'll see about that. And over here I have, this is indigo, a bunch of it, and this ochre here is, it's acrylic, so I won't be able to use this. And this is also acrylic, so these I won't be able to use. And this one, yeah, this one is acrylic as well. So at least we have the indigo here. I could use this as the skin tone, and then I could do the hair and the background all like in a mix of blues and greens. Yeah, because I don't need that much color for the body, and I think this should be enough quantity to do that, you know, like also for the shadows and for the lights. And I also need to remember that this paper is not watercolor suitable, so like wet media. I will see what we can do. Okay, so I made this sort of mistake. I put too much color on this bit. I won't be able to lift it. This paper doesn't allow me to lift things.
I had forgotten about this paper's idiosyncrasies, and I was swiftly reminded when I tried fixing this part of the arm. This meant that I had to change how I approached this painting. My best course of action would be to use layers, making sure that the paper was bone dry before applying them.
I'm trying to add some shadows to the face and the head overall without mucking up the paper, but it's been quite hard. Yeah, this paper really doesn't let you soften the colors.
Now that I have the body done, it's time to tackle the background. I will need dark colors to create contrast.
Okay, the only one I have used up for now is this color here. I still have the green, have tons of indigo, so I think I'm gonna go with the little pinkish that I have here. I think I'm gonna use another color now. I'm gonna use this one. Mainly because the pink one was not a separate color. It was one color that had like two different pigments, and they separated because it's a granulating color, and now I don't have the pinkish part of it, so to speak. Now I've re-wet that paint on my palette, and I am waiting for it to dry, because when it dries the pigments will separate again, and I might have some pink again. Okay, this is the process so far. I have 2 clean palettes now. Now I'm waiting for it to dry. I still have some of the gouache left and the indigo here. I'm never gonna be able to finish this in this painting because it is a lot of paint. But I've used as much as I could. I'm still gonna use some to do the background again. And then I have this little here, little green here. I still want to give more details, more contrast to this painting, so I'm gonna change my battery again and let this dry because it's a bit damp and I want it to be super dry. I was still trying to extract as much pigment as humanly possible, so I mixed the little gouache I had left with some of the blue watercolor to create a more dense paint, if that was even possible, and add more layers to the hair and body to create more contrast. Okay, I think I am done for today. It already is, what time is it? Oh, it's 5:30 already. And I started this at noon, I think. So it's quite a few hours already. Considering that I just wanted to paint for a bit, and I thought it was going to be something quick and easy and, you know, just get rid of all the paints that I have in my palettes. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's never done in just a few minutes. It never is. I also didn't take that many breaks. Like, the breaks I took, they were very short. I think the longest one was probably 10 minutes because I was preparing a smoothie and getting some fruit for myself. She is my little dancer. I think she looks nice. I really like her. And I also you can't really see, let me show you, the hand. So she's supposed to be holding her hand against her head. So this would be her wrist, and then this is her hand folded against her head. I don't know if I should try fixing it. I was considering adding some details to the background, but I didn't have enough gouache left to actually create anything. I even considered trying to remove a bit of the watercolor to create some highlights, but due to the delicate nature of this paper, that would also not be possible, so I had to leave it as is. For the final touches, I went for an outline of the body using the indigo and the leftover gouache using my rigger brush. I have to say, I had a lot of fun with this. The fact that I had forgotten about this paper and trying it again with more experience under my belt made me rediscover it, learn not only its weaknesses, but take them into account when painting. I also had to figure out how to use the limited paints I had at hand and make them come together in a way that worked. This goes to show you that you can paint with any material you like and have fun. As long as you're aware that it is the practice itself that makes painting enjoyable and not necessarily the end result. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive to improve or get better. I think what I'm trying to say is that the only way to get there is through constant practice.
And the way to remain constant is to remember how much you can have just by simply doing the thing, the act of putting paint onto paper, without worrying so much about the outcome.
There you go. My dancing lady using up leftover paint. I still have this much of gouache, but I might use it for something else. I cleaned up 2 palettes that I had. I did use some of this blue. I did use some of the indigo, a lot of indigo actually.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you were able to take something valuable from it. If so, please don't forget to give it a like, and if you're so inclined, do leave a comment. I always reply as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one!